Hello once again, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Play Frostpunk, a new home, hard noble campaign here. It is day 7 and it is about to cool off. Just recently had an influx of new people, so we're trying to deal with that. We did get more tents up for living space, medical post, care house yesterday. But we're quite low on wood, so that's a major current concern. Got the scouts on their way to a new location, and we're working on the steelworks tech. So there's plenty to do, that's for sure. There we go, 7 a.m. temperature starts to drop so we can switch out of overdrive. I'm going to let that keep going. As you can see, it melts a little bit on the screen, drops. Now we're down to negative 30. Or rises, excuse me, up to negative 30. I mean, dropping in terms of how negative it is. Whichever. And now if we look at the temperature situation, we can see that these are chilly without the heaters on. In fact, we don't need the heaters on anywhere. Yep, that should do it. So that will drop our usage to 9 coal an hour. Just the 6 for the generator itself, and then the 3 for the steam hub. So that's not bad. That means 216 coal a day is what we're aiming at. And yeah, up here we're about 2/3 of the way through, well, almost 2/3 of the way through those coal piles. This one, almost halfway. We got the steel there, that's close to being gone. That's almost gone. So is that. I think we're going to finish these up today. Of course, we do still have the coal over here, so it all depends what we have time to do. But I'd like to get steelworks up. I'd like to get, after they're researched, I'd like to get a couple more another sawmill going. I'd like to get a gathering post over here for more coal, although we shouldn't need it quite yet. But, you know, we've got people. So, would like to work on that. So, what's our top priority? I think it's got to be, obviously it's going to be research for the engineers. And with 9 sick, see how many of them, what's our distribution here? Let's see, 2 workers, 2 engineers, and a child. Three more workers and a child. So 5 workers, couple engineers, 2 kids. We also don't have enough child shelters. I don't want to forget that. And we'd like to get a 4th workshop to max out, because we're at 150%, and we can get up to 160 with so it's 30% for the 2nd workhouse, another 20% for the 3rd, and then 10% for the 4th maxes it out. So lots of things to be done. But I do want to focus on the sawmills. I'm going to go ahead and throw 10 workers in for that. Let's get the rest of the engineers here. We're going to be short 1, and that doesn't account for the sick absences, so we're not going to be able to fully staff these. But with, you know, if we get these down to where there's only 1 of them operating and we can take people out, we might be able to use a 4th. Alright, we've got up, not quite back from that hunt. These people are back, though. What about the ones up here? Yep, they're back also. Let's fill that out. And then we can get our these two whatchamacallits set up. Gathering posts, I sometimes forget what they mean. Let's see how we're doing on this third. Okay, those hunters are back. So, get the cookhouse going. And put those in there. So now we've got 12 workers unemployed, which is fine because we have several of them sick. I'd still like to have a few more jobs, but we're close. We're still close to full employment here. And it's work time. What do we got?
Get back to work.
Yep, couple sick there. Bunch of people going to eat is no surprise. Yep, so hopefully that'll sort itself eventually. And our scouts are about to arrive. There they are. They have reached the gloomy cave. Let's see what the report is there. This cave is or was inhabited, blah, 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 blah. Number of footprints leading to its entrance. We should check if there's someone still alive up there. Potential survivors. Let's explore. Beset by beasts. We can hear terrified shrieks coming from a cave uphill. When we come closer, several polar bears turn towards us, blocking the entrance. There are people trapped inside, and those beasts are picking them off one by one and feasting on them. Now, this little scenario is actually not one that I'm a particularly big fan of. It is possible, of course, bears don't attack humans much, but it is possible they see a bunch of humans around. The chaos in the world, climate situation could be driving them to, grabbing whatever food that they can if they can't hunt other animals. So that's, you can set that to the side. But here's our options. We can leave the bears alone. The bears will kill the survivors. We can risk attacking them. People in the cave will live. Scouts will escort them to our city if they survive. So I don't like it giving away what the result is. Like, that we can save them. The other thing is, look at how many people there are. Just throw the kids aside for the moment. We've got, there's 34, but 30 of them are adults. Only 4 are kids. So there's 30 of them. But our 5 scouts, the 30 of them can't fight off the bears. Our 5 scouts join the fight, and they can. That doesn't jive with me. The better options might be, because the bears are probably not going to be hungry enough to kill everybody. It says several of them. It doesn't say that there's a dozen or whatever. So the scouts could hide nearby and try to rescue whoever's left afterwards. They could try to hide near and, stick it out, wait for the bears to leave. They could, try to distract the bears somehow, make them more interested in something else. But the attack option, adding 5 to 30, adults. Granted, some of them are probably sickly and weak and everything else, but, it just doesn't. I don't see that turning the tide. These are scouts. These are not warriors. These are not ninjas. These are not, necessarily badasses in any way except for being best suited to scouting, so probably more hardy and a little physically better than the average person. But anyway, the choice here, we just can't let the bears kill them. We've got to take the risk. It's the only really noble thing to do. Obviously it is a risk, but even if our scouts don't survive, it's sort of the noble thing to be willing to risk yourself to save your fellow humans. We're trying to save humanity here. The more we have, the better we are at doing that. And, it just sort of fits into the right thing to do. Be selfless. Put yourself to the hazard. So risk attacking the bears. When the scouts attacked the bears, the people in the cave joined them, and together they drove the beasts away. Unfortunately, the scouts died from their injuries. The people they saved set out towards our city, guided by a map made by the scouts. Well, that's a bad result for us, obviously, because now we have no scouts. But from, you know, in terms of the game. In terms of the story itself, I like this. It's the better outcome. The other one is basically that everybody's fine and they all just go back to the city and blah, 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 blah. You know, it just ties it up in too neat of a bow. So I like the fact there was a sacrifice had to made, even though we have to mourn our scouts for sure. So we have lost our scouts. Survivors coming back to the city. Okay, so it's going to take them just over a day to get there. The cave is a grisly scene. Bloody chunks of flesh and bones are strewn everywhere. The carcasses have been torn to unrecognizable shreds. It's impossible to tell human and animal race apart. Ugh. Nasty, but also, you know, stuff happens. Okay, now we have no scout. 5 of our people have died. I don't think we're going to bother doing funerals. We'll have to see. But I don't think you can bury people. Like, I don't think they would have, you know, said you can't even tell human and animal remains apart. But the people definitely wouldn't have wanted to pick them up and have them burden them on their trip back. So, we're going to, whoops. Okay, steel wreckage depleted. We're going to need a new scout as soon as we can. We've got 33 wood and it takes 40. And that's also going to take out 5 more workers because we're down to, you know, 110 total. And but we have the workers to spare. So that's a thing. So this steel wreckage is gone. They've only got the 12 wood there left to use. So yes, misfortune besets our scouts, and we don't have any for the moment, but again, we're going to rectify that shortly. That is going to put even more pressure on our work in the sawmills to produce enough wood for us to do anything with. Plus, we got more people coming back in. And the other thing is, we've got people coming in so I could try to build stuff for them during the day, tents and whatnot, because I have people. The problem with that is it would take people off of eating here, and I could say, well, let's take them off of eating and use a little build trick to get them back to work, but I don't want to do that either. So as much as I would prefer to build during the day when I have people and give them something to do rather than having them build at night, which I think is a little bit riskier, it just doesn't work out to where it's useful, at least until I can get all the people to stop eating and go back to work. So, we've hit our 40. Let's go to the beacon. Let's commission another scout team. There we go. And, you know, they could go off somewhere else, but I think obviously the most important thing that they can do is to go meet the survivors. So it's going to take the survivors like 23 hours and whatnot. It's going to take the scouts just 10 hours to go to where they are. Yeah, and then they'll escort them back. That's definitely the thing to do here. So, onward then, as we are starting to get to about midday. We got some people that are hungry, and we're closing in on our steelworks. Steelworks researched. So there's that. What is next? Well, we could go forward, try to go forward with drawing boards. We definitely don't have the wood for it. We don't have wood for even a small one. We're going to have to wait just a second, have a tiny gap. So let's get up to the 10 wood that we're going to need. Literally minutes. It's stop, please. There we go. It's unfortunate, but that's where we are. So we have both the heating ones. We have the exploration one. We can't afford drawing boards, so we're down to resources. Or this. And faster gathering we could still use, but wouldn't be of great benefit. We've got the coal thumper option. But to me, I think the hunter's gear is clearly the thing to go with here. Particularly with more people coming in, we're probably not going to have enough wood. Matter of fact, I can virtually guarantee we won't have enough wood tonight to build another hunter's cabin. So we're going to need to survive with the 4 that we have for right now. And getting them to bring in more is going to be a big part of that. So let's go with hunter's gear. We can see still got people eating even though we're in the second half of the work shift here. Come on, pump out that lumber. Oh, we got them. Yeah, we got them still in there. Let's get out of there. Alright, gathering post depleted. Now we've got more workers. And, yeah, we've got people everywhere now. I don't want to work on... I just want to... We've got about 3 hours for the end of the day. I want to see if we can get this dismantled. This is our first dismantle thing. We don't have any more resources over here that are useful. It's all going to fill in just like this did over here with the wood crates. I'd like to get rid of this building. There we go. And we've got people assigned to it right away. Now we've got 22 people free. And of course I could assign the workers to gather this stuff manually. But it is still a little bit cold for that. At negative 30. You can see, like, you know, the cemetery is our measurement. It's cold outside. It's not chilly, it's cold out in these areas. So that would be risky. And unnecessarily so, because we don't have to do it. There we go. I don't think I've got time to build anything else. I wouldn't have, even if I'd started it a little bit earlier, before the end of the day. So I'm just gonna wait on that. But at least this did give us a little bit more to work with. You can see our coal is rising. Looks like we're about to hit that 200 mark. There it is. We have completed the initial goal of fight the cold. So we've got food. The generator hums with reassuring warmth, but we shouldn't take it for granted. Excuse me. If the generator goes down, the city dies. Be mindful of coal reserves. Now food, there'll be no city if we starve to death. Secure a way to provide raw food and build a cookhouse to prepare meals. Obviously, we are way past that. And so then it brings up search for others. Our people found a trail leading to the wilderness. We should follow it. We must find other people and ask them for help to secure our survival. We've already done that also. And we've got the steel now depleted over here. So everybody from this is purely working on the coal, 20 per hour. And another day, and that's probably gone. So we're getting right now up to the very end. And so this is our current mission. Really, the only one, find another settlement.
The workday is up.
Yes, the workday is most definitely up. So we're over halfway to Hunter's Gear. We won't be able to use that tonight, but we'll be able to use it tomorrow. We have 52 rations. But we only had, that is going down some, but we only had 3 hunters go out, so we're going to have 4 parties go out tonight. That will, I'm hoping, give us enough to deal with our rapidly growing population. See, these are gonna, the scouts are gonna meet them oh, about 10, 11 o'clock tonight, 22:30 or something like that. The scouts are going to meet them. They'll bring them back. They're probably going to be back here by daybreak or thereabouts. So the point of that is we definitely are going to want come back. I don't think they have to sleep tonight, though. Like, I don't think they're going to be back in time to sleep tonight here. So I don't need to build them tents yet. I can build them. They can build their tents tomorrow. Well, they're still going to be homeless once they show up. I really should build their tents if I can. Okay. Right now we have 110. We've got 90 in the inner ring, and what was it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we've got enough for 120. So we've got 10 extra. Basically, we're going to need 3 more tents. So if you think about it from a basic needs standpoint, we want to start there. Do I have anybody that see, at this point, you get population high enough, it's like, do I have anybody that is still working? And I don't think I do. I think I pulled everybody out. Okay. Now, 4 more kids. Right now we have 4 kids that don't have a child shelter, and it's going to be up to 8. So I don't like that either. I want to try to stick with the 2 medical posts, because I'm sure we're going to have more sick from this. But we're also going to have more, like, all of these people are going to, get healthy. Okay. So, let's get our hunters out. Oh. Now we're not going to have full efficiency because some of them are in treatment, which means we're not going to get the full 4 hunts, but we'll get a significant part of it. And yeah, all these people eating, let's convince them otherwise. We should still have enough room over here. None of you want to... None of you are interested in that tent. Bit of a surprise. Just keep on rolling. There we go. So up here we've just got the ones that are in treatment, and that's full, and that's full. So we're only, yep, we got 2 of the 3 now. Only trying to get that last hut there to fill up with hunters. And this should do it. There we go. And now we've already got more stuff building than we have people for. We're short a couple people on that. Let's get a 3rd tent. And I'm just going to build this on the outside here. We're trying to make use, first of all, of the steam hubs area. We're going to have it fired up, so let's make use of it. Let's have it, heat all these things. And then also looking at the idea of just using the street that's there. Didn't have to build a street for it. Every little bit helps. Okay, so if we're going to hold tight on the medical posts, I think the next thing to do is to build another child shelter. I could build it next here, but I don't see any reason not to, because these are 3, so this would take it out to the rim. And I don't see a reason not to just build these next to each other, since they're of the same, size. Now we're down to 34 wood. The steelworks itself, which I would love to build, costs 25 wood. And I'd have to get streets out here. So at the very most, I could build one. We're definitely much more in need of lumber. If you highlight, well, let's not do that. That doesn't work. Let me get the. This is, by the way, it's their only steel to iron ore deposits. We've got one of those. You've got coal here. There's another coal that's on the other side. Down here. Yeah, it's just. I'd have to rotate to see it better, but there, that's second coal. So when we get to being able to mine coal, we'd be able to have two of those. But if we go to look at the steelworks, and you can see these are the only places it can be built. And building it there will destroy some of these trees, which will probably still be there by then. But I'm not going to worry about that. It's only a small amount that would be lost. Steel probably going to be more important, but these are the only places we can build steelworks. So we want to have them up and running as quickly as possible. But right now, it's not the biggest priority. We could also build a gathering post over here, but we're fine on coal for the moment, so we don't really want to do that. We could build one over here, which I probably will eventually do to snag that little bit of steel along with that one. All of those things are possible. But lumber is really the biggest need. We could build... What I'd really like to do is get a fourth workshop going and get a sawmill, if I can possibly swing that. Now, we've cleared this out over here to the point where I should have room to get in a sawmill. Or do I want to get two sawmills? The question is, how much trouble are we going to have with wood? Again, I want to stick with the 4 hunters' huts. I'm going to see what happens tonight, and then what happens the next night. I'll try to gauge, will that increased amount probably be enough or not? So we're at 52 rations right now, so I want to track that. I think we're going to be able to make it. But I really like this location. You can see how it gets all of the stuff on the left and a good part of what's on the right. I think this is a great location for a sawmill. So I definitely want to build that. There goes 10. Now I've got to get a street out to it. Closest place I can come to is from right here. If I just build that straight up, that's another 6 wood. Now, if I want to get another sawmill in place, I'd probably want to build it over here or over here. And I really don't have enough wood to do that and build the sawmill and build the street to connect it. I don't have another good location that I can put one in. So maybe down here. Where is this sawmill cover? So I could get... Let me just turn this. I could get like this part along here. Let me just see what the sawmill over there would look like. So I could get these. That's not going to be a great location. It would be decent. I would get more wood from it for a while, so I've got to balance that against improving the research more. And I guess waiting another day to build that 4th workshop is not as big of a deal to me as really maxing out the wood production. The other thing is, am I going to have enough people? I think I am. I'm going to freed up workers. Yeah, I should have enough people to staff all of this. It's not a totally easy call here. I'm having a little bit of trouble with it, but I think I want to go with that sawmill. And this is a place to do it. You can see this one over here has that little bit free, so I'd like to grab that. And then get as much of, I think right there. So I'm grabbing, we're now using everything from that area up above and grabbing as much as we can of this down here. And yeah, it doesn't tell me how much is there. So now I've got 8 wood to get a street out there. And should be able to just paint this. Or do I want to do it there? Or because this hunter's hut's going to stay here. So actually, so I can have maximum room to maybe fit a building in there. Let's do it. Let's make that here. Yeah, 6. And 7. One wood remaining. That's not close or anything. Okay, so let's align this back to, I think that's more or less on center. But yeah, we've got this cluster now of 3 sawmills down here, which normally I'd like to spread them out more. But this is what was available. We got the one up there. So we're doubling our sawmills from 2 to 4. Really going to start pounding out the lumber here. I think that's the right approach. It's what I'm going with anyway. Wish I'd had more food or lumber available, but that scout, you know, that scout mishap, 40 wood this early, relatively early in the game before I've really been able to get up and running with the sawmills, it's a bit of a hit. And of course losing the workers as well. Just move this along. And that's a lot of building to do. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes, because we've only got 14 engineers and 2 workers to do it. We've got 60, or with the, you know, the 3 that are missing, 57 hunters going out. And we've reached midnight. It's our second child shelter. Nice to have that up. Oh, we're getting some people healed and some people sick at the same time. We're down to 3 right now. See, do we have any full, or empty rather? We got 1 engineer there, and so we got 1 and 2, so I can't really pull any engineers out. And here come our scouts. Scouts have returned to the city with the survivors. Well, that was fast. Didn't expect them to be here quite this soon. So now we've got a bunch more people. And yeah, 33 homeless, 33 hungry, but we don't even have enough food for everybody that's hungry right now. But they should not be homeless anymore once we finish this building. Okay, so now where do we go? Well, we've done the Gloomy Cave, the Lost Expedition. We can go to the observatory, or we can go to the Sturdy Shelter. And we got this yellow pip telling us this is a priority, and the search for others. That's sort of the main plot quest, if you will, that we're on right now. But also, you know, we've got potential people here, and this, you know, I mean, there's probably people there also. There's no sign of movement here. And there's smoke over that. You know, so I mean, based on the way this is presented, this might be the main plot thing to do. But I think it's a pretty equal choice, to me at least, and the observatory is closer. If I take a look at our scouts, that's a 15-hour journey. And this would be a 22-hour journey. Yeah, it is closer. So, while we could go either way with it, I'm going to go to the observatory. Scouts number 2, we have named them. Number 1, of course, no longer exists. We're down to 2, now 1 sick person. Well, that should definitely let us free up. Yeah, Luke Haddon is in there going to treatment, which means we have no patients here. Let's yank those engineers out for at least the moment. And we don't have some of these houses built, which ironically was probably the most important part of this, but we have some other things done. Okay, so now we're down to 13 homeless, so some of them have found a place to live, and I bet those last 2, which now have workers assigned, because now that it's 5 o'clock, it's the start of a new day, people are getting up, they're like, okay, let's go build those last houses. So for the first time, I believe, we actually didn't finish our overnight building. We got 13 hours left on the Scout, they're headed to the observatory. And yeah, the big thing's obviously going to be how much wood can we start collecting. Now this one over here, 976 left. I've got 900 in that radius. 1,500 over here. I see that's a great area. It's an absolutely great area. And 581 here. And since each one's like pulling out like I think it's 68 a day. So we have several days minimum on each of those sawmills. So this should be a long-term, really big lumber operation. So excited about that. See if we can get them fully employed or not. And we should be able to get a bunch of wood and then build everything else we need tonight. That's the goal anyway. That'll happen next time though. We're up to day 8. Setback with the Scouts, but overall making progress. Be back soon. Thanks for watching.